What's up, guys? Welcome to the fifth episode.
Fifth episode of Inside the Octagon, and today we have another special guest. The person behind all my success is my coach, James Alexander, and he'll be here with us, and we're here.
How you doing, man? How you feeling?
All right,
How are you, James?
all right. We've had a good sparring session tonight, so
Yeah.
Sparring was fun. Sparring was fun. Someone was late. We're not going to talk about that.
Someone was late because of someone. I don't drive the car. You drive the car.
I'm not a fighter. You
okay,
are.
Okay, sure.
Anyway, so last week we
saw
the fights and we saw how
it went out.
Umar got robbed.
Umar got robbed, but you could the way the judges saw it is that Marab was playing with Umar. I'd say.
Look, James, you know more about judging.
He is also
You know
a
more
judge.
about the scoring. Before we carry on, let's just introduce yourself. What you know? You are one of the coaches here.
yeah, I'm a coach here. I've been back now for 2 years, I think. I'd had a bit of sabbatical with some family stuff, but yeah, back now. Did some judging while I was on my break. Was fortunate enough to work with a UFC judge who's involved with the English martial arts team to give me a sort of a lowdown. So going back to that scoring, I haven't watched the fight, but the main and first point of scoring is effective striking.
Effective striking, yeah.
Effective striking.
Staying on your
So
front
what would
foot.
be-
But when you break down into that effective striking, immediately impactful outscores
Yeah. Basically,
accumulation.
yeah. Basically, staying on your front foot and
More
not.
damage. If what you're landing is potentially fight ending or
yeah.
impactful,
Yeah.
will score higher.
Yeah. So
For example, if you land a load of leg kicks, but Bilal hits you with a massive elbow and cuts
that's-
you,
Yeah.
that's
redemption.
immediately impactful. Okay, now
That makes sense.
the judges will use that as the first point of scoring. If they deem that is equal, they will move to grappling.
The grappling.
And effective grappling,
the
if there is
control
any.
time.
Effective grappling is classed as potentially fight-ending grappling. So
Fight-ending,
can you get to mount?
Getting
Can you get
submissions
to the
also.
back? Submission attempts. These
attempts.
are
Yeah.
impactful moments in grappling.
That's actually true. Yeah.
So if there's nothing going on, let's say we're fighting
Yes.
and I shoot 10
takedown.
takedowns and I land 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
With those takedowns, there's no ground and pound, there's no submission threats. However, he's the one threatening with submissions,
Yeah.
even
that's
though
the thing.
I'm the one who's taking him down.
But he's just controlling
How would you score that?
me.
Because he's being effective.
So he's
Yeah.
been
He's trying to do something.
If you can try and, for me, to sort of break it down, is are you trying to effectively end that fight?
Yeah.
okay.
That's
Because if you are, then you are being immediately impactful. Now, the judges will only move to effective grappling if they deem effective striking level.
Okay, if it's the striking aspect.
So if
it's
they've
like
gone,
50,
I
50.
can't split the
Yeah,
striking,
yeah.
let's move on
Let's
to the
move on to
grappling.
grappling. See how.
Okay.
And then they'll score it from there. Now, in the rare occasion that they then can't split the striking and can't split the grappling, they'll move on to aggression and cage control.
Okay.
I've got to try and
Cage
remember.
control. Cage control was that?
I think it's aggression
I
first
think it's-
and then cage control last.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
aggression would more probably be like, oh, just staying on the moving forward.
Yeah,
trying to
but the
land shots.
likelihood that a judge is going to score your striking, your grappling, your aggression, all equal to then get down to cage control,
Oh yeah.
it's extremely unlikely
Yeah.
Unlikely. Yeah.
because you score the
Well,
next.
the one fight that comes into mind in that type of scoring is Islam versus Sarukian.
The first one. Yeah.
First one.
The striking was very close. The wrestling
The
exchanges
wrestling
were
was
very close. The grappling were like, the scrambles were again.
But
Very close.
within that striking and grappling exchanges, yes, as equal as they are, who is deemed to be immediately impactful with their strikes or
Exactly,
any
yeah.
submission attempts, especially if you get to an armbar position and you maybe extend that arm, how close is that to being fight ending potentially?
Basically,
Quite
almost there.
close. Yeah.
Basically,
So that's
yeah,
impactful,
that
right?
makes sense,
Now
yeah.
you may extend that arm and they may walk around and recover.
And yeah, that's
That's okay,
That's
but
okay.
you are immediate. Same if a rear naked choke goes under the chin, it's
It
locked
looks like
in.
It's locked in. Yeah, yeah.
That's immediately impactful, right?
So that would be the fight ending. And
So-
again, with that Islam fight, it literally all it was, because it was so close with striking, the grappling, and everything, towards like, I want to say like the end of the second round and then majority of the third round, Islam was able to be one step ahead.
Mhm.
With
Yeah,
striking,
that-
with wrestling, with reversals, with
You
like
could see
top
it.
control.
You could see it in the fight. When you're watching the fight, you could see how if Sarikan went for like a type of control, like an underhook or something, Islam Makhachev instantly goes and gets a takedown. Reverses it. That's what that whole fight was,
So in
Who can
this
reverse?
fight, right, Umar versus Merab,
which he hasn't seen.
the majority of the first round was Umar on the
Yeah.
feet. In
Beating him
terms
on
of
the
striking,
Defending
he was
takedowns.
landing the better shot, the cleaner shots. So the 1-2s clean,
Yeah.
right? Defending takedowns. There wasn't much takedowns in the first
In
round.
the first round, there wasn't
Second
much, but it was
round,
still been defended.
again,
Still been defended.
Pretty same thing. Third round, Umar would get the takedown, but I mean, Merab would get a takedown and Umar would then reverse it.
Mm.
So it wasn't like he got a takedown and he got controlled.
No.
So like when you watch the fight, you will see like the striking exchanges. Umar was the one who would start it, and he would be effective.
Yeah.
Merab would just make it look like he's doing something. Don't get me wrong, he was landing some shots here and there, but the majority of it was Umar was just outlanding him, and you could clearly see. I think it was by the end of the third round that Merab's face was just red.
You could tell he was getting damaged.
Difficult with markings because, like, if we were to fight, now your skin tone is darker than mine.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
I might land a shot on you and you don't show it, but he might land a shot on me, and because of my complexion,
Oh yeah.
I might red up. I'll look bad.
Yeah.
So it's not
But the
red.
thing
Like redness and that aren't a great barometer.
No, I mean like
to-
blood.
No,
But
as
yeah,
in-
cuts and
Yeah.
like swelling are because that happens
You
too.
could tell his nose was damaged from those strikes. Those strikes were all landing like
I think one thing that annoys me, I feel like,
it was
is
landing.
how, I don't know if this is all the judges, but certain judges get easily swayed by crowd reactions.
Oh yeah, that's. Could that also be like something that you've made a decision on?
What
Not
do you
when
think
I've,
is that
not when
part
I've
of-
judged. I generally.
But
like,
some. I
it's
do
a
think
difficult
some-
one because you, as much as you can't block that out because again impactful,
Yeah.
you can hear it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
So
mean?
then
I think
That's
there was
why-
times where Umar would grab Merab and he would try and take him down, and Merab would be like this, like showboating.
Yeah.
And the crowd goes crazy.
This again sounds a difficult one because if you've like you remember like back in Fight Island, like the COVID times in the Apex when there was
Oh,
no
yeah.
crowd,
No
and
crowd, no one.
now you'll be used to that and you'll be because you've been in here
Oh yeah.
and you've heard sparring.
Yeah.
But for an average Joe or a fan watching
Who's
that
not
on
used to
TV
that.
that's never been into a gym, so they hear just the constant commentary. They don't
shots.
hear the shot
Yeah,
noise,
no.
but you will if you're cage side.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, that's why. Same with he said. When you threaten a submission, the crowd goes crazy. The crowd, when Charles Oliveira threatened a submission against anyone, you could hear the crowd going, "Whoa!"
They got wild.
But then that's because the judges also can see that he's threatening a submission.
So,
That's why maybe
No, I
sometimes.
mean the judges at the top level are. I mean,
Well,
there are close decisions and there are.
robberies.
I want. Here's what
Not this
what I
time,
want,
Rajiv.
right,
No.
in the judging system is have retired fighters.
People that have been in there.
I don't want all three of them, or like for however many judges you're gonna have. I don't want all of them to be retired
least
fighters.
one in there.
Yeah, I don't know because again, I'm not going to say who, but you listen to some of the
Unknown caller.
unprofessional. You listen
Unprofessional.
to.
You think I'm gonna edit that out? That's not getting edited. That's gonna stay in there.
In fact, it's not even
You
my
listen
friend.
to ex or current and ex fighters on the commentary, and they talk about the scoring criteria, and they need to work
I
On-
think what's
on
gonna
what they're bringing out
yeah I
and
think
what they're saying because they can potentially sway people watching because they're giving incorrect information.
yeah. I think also favoritism might come into play. So if you've got like a fighter who favors striking,
But that you
Compared
can
to,
see
like-
that, you can see that in the local shows, not on high level. Obviously, you can't have the judge that favorites the other person. But in these local shows, let's say if someone has a let's say if we have a local show in Southampton, if obviously it's not that it's happened. If basically the person that's running the show is hometown and everything, he gets the judges, he gets everything, and obviously sometimes it might be a big rig.
No, I get that. I'm on about like in general.
Seen,
I'm on about in general. Like I'm talking about the highest level. I'm talking about UFC, like Bellators and Cage Warriors. Like the flip side to me, saying having retired fighters would be like if you've got someone who favors striking.
Yeah.
Then grappling or wrestling, you're gonna have that regardless.
Yeah.
So they might
they have to
potentially.
If they're going to do it, they have to be certificated. Yes, it's like they have to disestablish themselves from being fighters to being judges.
Do you think experience should come into play? Do you reckon should that
because
be a criteria?
they know what they've been in that situation. They've been inside the cage.
I think you gain experience from judging. Like those guys that are judging in the UFC didn't just get their certification and go straight to the UFC. They're working small hall shows, AMIs.
No, I'm on about like experience in terms of like being in the cage or training certain.
I think
have won a fight.
I think if you
not necessarily competing. I'm on about like just.
I think you have to have some
training.
You have to have some relevant background. There's no point being an MMA judge if you don't know what an armbar is.
MMA is,
You have to understand
I agree with that.
to a certain level. What's happening in that scenario, because how can you deem something effective if you don't understand what's happening?
No, I agree with that. I think like the judging system should, the way I think they should do it is have like maybe 1 or 2 retired fighters, and have,
but again those
like
retired
someone who hasn't been competing at the highest level.
So I really like the scoring in MMA. I think it's brilliant.
Once
you break it down, don't get me wrong, I've judged fights where I was taught to use a tally.
Oh yeah.
So at no point will I look at my pen on my paper. My eyes are focused, but you kind of learn like blue corner, red corner, and I'm scoring as I go. And then at the end of the round, you literally collate it. But you can obviously, like, if something's impactful, make that like a block mark. If it's a cumulative, small mark, and I'm literally building it up, and I'm building a picture of that fight. So if there was a contentious decision and someone comes and says, "What did you score that? Why did you score it like that?" Well, this is why I scored it, because the first point of that criteria.
You can show it.
And I've had fights where
has anyone came up to you after scoring a thing?
No, I mean, I've had
I've
had a couple of fights where like a hometown fighter has lost like a split decision, but they've sold like 100 tickets and everyone's, and you're like,
you should deal with that.
I remember I judged it was a K1 main event on a local show, and we had it as a draw, and it was the main event, and I was like, when I saw the scorecards come in and we collated the scores, I was like, we're gonna get lynched, Lee.
They're gonna start throwing chairs, bro.
It was a draw, like
sometimes it just happens. So that was my whole point, like with watching that fight, is like, as much as I wanted Umar to win, do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, Merab just has that cardio, bro.
Where'd you rate him? Where'd you put Merab in bantamweight history now?
I don't think
look at his resume.
His resume is good. His resume.
Yeah, but also you have to look at like the guys. Cejudo. He fought Cejudo. It wasn't Cejudo when.
I don't know why Cejudo's still
time ago. All right, it was past his prime Cejudo.
Yeah, but
and he fought Aldo. Let's be honest.
Okay.
It wasn't
Aldo
when Aldo was Aldo.
Starts now.
So I think Merab right now, I think he's got a couple more fights in order for him to. Don't get me wrong, he's sick.
Who's left?
What, in bantamweights?
Yeah, who's left for him?
Corey Sandhagen, I think, so a stylistically a decent match for Merab, because he's good. Yeah. He's well-rounded.
Sean O'Malley as well, running back with Pitian.
All he's gonna do is just take down, and then get you tired.
I think he's just got to move up, come to featherweight.
If he goes to featherweight, fights Ilia Topuria, that's.
He's not gonna fight Ilia Topuria.
That's a whole.
That fight's not happening. They're both from Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Both from Georgia. That's not happening. So coming up to main event.
That's what.
Makhachev versus Moicano.
He made him look easy, man. That's why Makhachev is in my top 5. My Rushmore. My Mount Rushmore of UFC.
So again,
already. Already, who's there left for him? Who?
Actually, you know what? I was
Give
gonna
him-
try and like get into this
Yeah.
at a later point, but we'll get into it right now.
We'll get into it right
Mount,
now. Yeah.
Mount Rushmore.
Let's jump in
Right.
now.
I'm gonna start with you.
Okay, I'll go. So
Top
Rushmore,
5.
Wait, is there 5 or 4?
Just this
We'll
is
go
our Mount Rushmore.
there's 4, but we'll go 5.
Okay, we'll go 5. Yeah.
Top 5, right?
Of all time.
In no order.
No order.
So
okay,
your
I'll
top
just-
5
I'll just say
MMA.
it. Yeah. Okay. I'll just say
Retired or active?
it. Active. Okay. We got CM Punk. No, I'm joking. We have fucking. We have Islam. Okay, for me, Islam Makhachev is. If I was ranking it, he'd be the lowest right now. So we got Islam Makhachev, Demetrius Johnson, GSP, Dominic Cruz, and George St. Pierre, in my opinion.
You just said GSP, Dominic
Oh no,
Cruz
sorry,
and George
John,
St. Pierre.
John Jones. Oh, how can I forget John Jones, bro? No, John Jones. Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so you got John Jones, GSP,
And
DJ.
let me take out Dominic Cruz and let me put DC in there. Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier sounds better to me than Dominic Cruz.
How many have you got there?
Huh?
Makachev?
So Makachev, Demetrius Johnson,
Yeah,
GSP,
yeah.
Daniel Cormier, John Jones. Done.
Alright,
Daniel Cormier, second double champ, legend.
alright.
But John Jones
your
doesn't exist.
top 5.
Randy Couture.
Whoa.
Alright, solid.
Straight out of the go.
Yeah, that's
Valid.
true. First double
Like,
champ.
first double champ.
Valid.
Did it for the older man.
He did. Oh, he's 47 he was. I
What a
think.
guy.
He came
What
back.
a
He
guy.
was old and he was knocking these
I
guys
got
out.
yeah. So Randy, because he did it before it was a popular thing.
Yeah.
But
John
okay.
Jones
Yeah.
Okay.
has to be.
John Jones.
Regardless of all the stuff away from the cage, in cage,
In cage. We're talking about in cage,
competition,
by the way. In
he
cage.
is arguably the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. We won't know.
GSP,
Valid.
Ooh.
I think he's going to be in everyone's, right?
GSP
Yeah.
is
If GSP
no
is
doubt.
not in your top 5,
Jump off, mate.
go to
Oh,
boxing.
Go to
DJ,
boxing.
I think DJ
Yeah.
has
DJ.
to, has to
also
be in
with
there.
DJ has to be there.
And
I said Makachev.
nah, I think purely for the era of like the 2000s onwards when he first came, Anderson Silva. When Anderson Silva first, like the upwards elbow in Cage Rage or whatever it was before the UFC,
Oh yeah.
and then when he came to the UFC, and you had guys like Chris Lieben off the back of the Ultimate Fighter, Rich Franklin, who was a legit decent middleweight.
He was,
Anderson
yeah.
Silva just made them look.
Like
he
they
made them
shouldn't
look.
even
Like,
be there.
yeah, like his
The
level
way
of striking
he made them.
was just
He
unbelievable.
he looked like he was on another planet. He was somewhere else. He was just autopilot and he was just beating the shit out of these guys.
Yeah, I think the
Left, right,
middleweights
centre.
now
But I think some middleweights
are
now a lot better,
better
than he
than
is.
the middleweights.
That's the same with Randy Couture.
I
the
think
heavyweights.
that's generic in the sport. Though. Every sport evolves, and
Yeah.
MMA is, you know,
Yeah, it's still
It's-
growing.
started like essentially in the 90s
years
as
ago.
a sport, and it's growing. And you look at guys now that are coming through; they're not just strikers, grapplers. They are mixed
everything. They're
martial
MMA
artists,
now.
and you
It's
can't
MMA.
get away with.
Just being
Yes,
a
you,
specialist.
that's-
yes,
yeah.
you can be very good at one particular thing, but you cannot ignore the other sides
The
of the
other
game.
sides, yeah, that's true. That's the thing.
It'll
is,
catch up to you eventually.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah,
just good at
that's
one
that's
thing.
with all sports as well. When Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, they're better than Maradona and Pele because the level they played, obviously growing up, and maybe some of these younger players now they probably become better than.
I think
these
it's
old
what
ones.
it's what
That's
you
the same with the UFC
what you do in your era.
in your era. Okay, yeah,
So
that
like
makes sense. That does
Maradona and
make
Pele
sense.
in their eras were
Yeah.
doing things that no one else
No
was
one
doing,
else is doing, yeah.
and it's much the same in
Yeah.
boxing or
Mm.
MMA. You look at Mike Tyson in the 90s; he was
Yeah.
doing things that no one else
No
in
one else
heavyweight box was doing.
Yeah,
But
Prince
then,
Nassim was
Prince
doing things that
Nassim,
no one else was
yeah,
doing.
that's true.
he's another one.
Evander
This is
Holyfield
era.
moving up weight classes. Obviously, boxing's easier to move up and down.
Like
Yeah,
Lomachenko
there's
now.
too many things.
He was
Lomachenko
doing
now.
things like
Redondo a few years ago.
Yeah,
It's
it's about
evolution.
what you do in there. What you do in your time.
yeah,
Basically,
I
yeah,
think-
that does make sense. That's why Randy Couture is a good shout. The first double champ
yeah.
there was.
And also, like at the time we got second, 47 years old, bro.
oh, 47
Who
years
does
old.
that, bro?
And he's
Who?
knocking out big ass people.
Tim
bro.
Sylvia, he
Tim
done it,
Sylvia
yes.
got strong.
All right, so
Now we got this guys. Now watch the controversy.
My
Watch
top
the
five.
controversy. Watch.
my top
He's gonna
5,
say people are flipping.
right?
Ronda.
Ronda Rousey,
Best boxer.
Conor McGregor.
Not
Go
Conor
on,
McGregor.
go on, go on.
My top 5 in no order.
In no order.
This is gonna be a surprise.
Okay.
Khabib Nurmagomedov. They can't even deny it.
Okay.
Khabib has to be there.
I would have put him as my 6th.
No, I'm
My
not. This
sixth.
is not order, bro.
But I know, but
So you got Khabib Nurmagomedov.
yeah.
Then I got Aldo. Then I
yeah.
got GSP.
That's of course yes. I don't know.
You
why I
gotta
said
have
no.
GSP in there.
Yes, carry on.
Yeah.
Demetrius Johnson.
Then I'm gonna put. Obviously, you gotta put DJ in there.
DJ.
And last but not least,
Don't say Pantoja.
I'm not saying Pantoja.
Don't say Pantoja.
I'm not saying Pantoja.
Go on.
Now this one is gonna be a bit mad one, but I'm gonna say it because for how much he's achieved in such short time,
It's gonna say Alex Pereira.
it's gonna be mad. It's Alex Pereira.
What? No, man. Put him against Ankalaev.
In no,
Put
you
him
in
against
how much
Alcalá.
he's achieved. Actually, you know
Actually,
what?
that's
Bunda, did I put DC in there?
No.
I'm putting DC. Sorry, Alex.
Take Alex out, bro. Take Alex out.
DC.
Yeah.
Now you might want to know why I didn't put Silva or Jones in there.
Silva or Jones. Okay, tell us why you didn't put Jones. We all know why.
PEDs, bro.
PEDs is a little
But
cheater.
in cage competition, regardless of outside of the cage, what he does in the cage.
I understand that, but if you're doing PEDs outside of the cage,
It's gonna
it differentiates your performance inside
performance
of the cage.
enhancing drugs is what
which,
he's
which
good
of the fights got changed because of it?
against.
One Cormier one?
You look at John
one,
Jones
yeah.
before you saw that. You look at John Jones after you saw that.
Say that about 100 UFC fights.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying all of them. I'm on about
Mr.
if we're
Ubery.
talking about the elite of the elite. If you're gonna talk about like John Jones being the GOAT, he's gonna be under the microscope. So you have to. This is what I'm saying, right? I want to make one thing very clear.
But I can't.
John Jones did not need. He does not need steroids, right? He does not need PEDs to be
Which fight did
That's
he
great.
start taking steroids?
to be great at what he does.
Which fight was it?
It doesn't matter which fight. It's about the ones that he failed. He's not gonna say, oh, "I did it in this fight, and this one."
Yeah.
He failed.
And
I want to make that clear. Like I said, John Jones doesn't need steroids. He is good. He's the
Yeah, I
best.
don't-
In
I
my
don't-
opinion, he's the best. However, you have to put an asterisk next to his name. Like you can't in a sport where you got to be clean. If someone's
That is
someone's
true.
like
That is true.
cheating,
that just ruins
you
the whole
can't
thing.
just let that slide.
And John Jones.
That's like
obviously-
it's like doing a 100-meter race, right? And the guy has a head start
yeah,
by like
exactly.
5 seconds,
Yeah.
and he keeps doing that, and then you're gonna say, "Well, he's great." Well, obviously he's
Of course.
cheated. Like,
Yeah, and also it's dangerous for the other person, for the person that's fighting John Jones, because you're fighting someone that's cheating, performance enhancing, which means they could have done a lot of damage to you just because they were on that and they weren't their usual self if you were to fight them.
See,
normally.
I wouldn't
we'd
say.
say about Randy winning that title at 47.
Oh,
John Jones beating Shogun at, what, 21?
21,
it was
yeah.
23. I
That's
think.
insane. Like, to do it the way he did it as
The
well.
way he got, yeah, the way
Like,
he
that was short notice, I think,
At least
leading
he's not
into the
undefeated.
fight. I think he stopped
got
a
injured.
mugging in the daytime before
Oh,
the
yeah,
fight.
yeah,
That was-
yeah.
Someone got mugged and he armbarred him
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Central
yeah.
Park or
I-
something
I-
crazy
I
shit
have
like
heard of
that.
that.
And then went and put on that performance. And then off the back of that, like some of the fights and performances he put on,
Well, he's-
Belfort was, I mean, like, to
Yeah.
get out of that armbar
Gustafsson,
was,
all
That
of
was
that.
wild.
The
Because
The
his
way
Gustafsson
he
arm-
did
one
that
was
to
a-
Lyoto Machida, just
yeah, slept him.
that's so like.
See,
great.
that's why. Like, I think
But-
it's like you don't need
Steroids.
steroids, but he did. We can't let
And
that
yo,
slide.
one thing that always stays on my mind, yeah, is what Tom Aspinall said. He just fought like middleweights. Most of these guys look like middleweights. They're built like middleweights, if you know what I mean. He hasn't fought. Who's the only light heavyweight person that he
DC won a middleweight.
fought? No, DC. Obviously, forget DC. DC was a heavyweight.
Gustafsson won a middleweight.
No, apart from them two, that's the only two that I'd say, and those two were probably
The
his
one that
hardest
gave him the
fights.
hardest fights. What's that mate?
Dominic
Shogun
Reyes.
Rule
Dominic
looks
Reyes beat
small.
him.
Shogun Rule looks so small. Against
Dominic
him.
Reyes
Lyoto
beat
Machida-
John Jones.
End of conversation.
I don't care what anyone says.
John Jones has lost once.
And Dominic Reyes after that.
He
Yeah, but
lost,
that-
he lost
John-
by winning.
John Jones lost to a rule that's now legal.
That's now legal, exactly. That's the
Matt
key
Hamill
thing.
could be like, yeah, I beat him.
I beat that guy.
I beat him with my face.
I beat him by him. Nah, bro,
Beaten
that's
by
bullshit.
rule set technicality.
I damaged his elbow.
With my head.
But yeah, no, that's I always think like if you've caught
If John
cheating,
Jones wasn't.
if news comes out today,
yeah.
right, that Islam Makhachev or Khabib found out that I'm on about like legitimate proof, like here they've failed drug tests.
Ooh.
To
Then
me,
you
it's
can tell
like
them.
I would never put him in my top 5 or top 10.
I think obviously Conor thinks that these guys are all taking steroids and shit, but look at Conor now. Look at Conor now, bro. He's literally a roid head. You can tell he's a little roid head now, and he's calling all these guys for. Obviously, USADA's left now, innit? So a lot of people might secretly be taking that. Or was it the bum?
Again, with Conor, it's an era thing.
And he can't.
That era from 2011 when he first came, 2013. When did he beat Aldo? Like 2016?
2013.
2015. No, it was 15.
It was 15. Yeah.
That era there,
That was.
like he was insane.
He was insane, but
He's another one
He
that
was
I always
getting
think.
fed. He was getting fed like.
But he's
Dead
probably
people.
done more for the sport in terms of
He has.
bringing it to the masses than
Yeah,
some of the
He's
people
done
that
it.
we've
He's
put
done
in.
it. He's done it.
Oh yeah,
top
that's
5.
100%.
Yeah, look,
GSP is
Khabib's
the
another
purest
one as well.
mixed
Khabib.
martial artist.
Yeah.
Khabib. But for the average Joe watching at home who just watches the UFC because he likes watching a tear up, Conor McGregor's probably done more for the sport than
I was
those
so
guys.
yeah,
have.
no, I was looking at the UFC fighters like their following list, and Conor McGregor and Khabib both have the most following. And I looked at John Jones. John Jones barely has 10 million followers. Although he's the best of all time, he didn't do what Conor could do for the sport.
Yeah, but I think in terms of who's had the most impact in in UFC,
Yeah,
Conor McGregor is there
I
without a
think
doubt.
across
Conor
MMA.
McGregor's by himself.
Yeah.
By himself, he's there.
Yeah, he's like, this is what I always say, like from the moment he joined UFC right up until he beat Eddie Alvarez,
And a lot of people,
I think that McGregor would have gave Khabib problems.
problems to stand up and then just
Where
get
he
taken
won
out.
100 million,
Oh yeah, when
Floyd
he went,
Mayweather, bro came back, bro said, you know what, I don't know.
I'm rich.
Because I don't know if you watched the UFC embedded for that fight, Conor versus Khabib. The week of, bro's just there drinking whiskey. Like,
His styles as well. Khabib's style was all wrong for Conor.
Was the
yeah,
it
I mean,
counted
I know,
that.
but the
It
thing is,
counted.
Conor had fought, obviously I'm not going to say like he fought someone like Khabib,
Who?
but he was there, like Chad Mendes
Chad
gave him
Mendes.
problems.
Chad Mendes, that was on short. If Chad Mendes had had a full camp for that, that would have been an
That
interesting
would have been
fight.
a
It
proper
would- yeah.
fight. He got taken
Chad
down,
Mendes,
elbow in his face.
I want to say,
But also, if you
Max
are the
Holloway, I think it
matchmaker,
was
if you're the
like-
matchmaker for the UFC and you have this star product in Conor McGregor,
well, yeah, I want to make
you
sure you
wanted
avoid.
to keep him
yeah.
up. So
You
they're
wanna
gonna.
get him. That's how he got double champ that quick.
But he also never defended.
He never defended one of those belts.
You know, he's never defended, even in Cage Warriors.
No.
He never defended a single belt.
He's not a defender. He's just a
So-
killer.
Smash and grab.
That's
Smash
why.
and grab.
That's why DC's higher for me than Conor. Even though Conor is also a double
Bro,
champ.
bro, what's that say? Bro, hit it and quit.
Bro, hit and quit, bro. Nah, Prime Conor though. Prime Conor, his mentality was great.
Nah, Prime Conor was different.
His
Prime
mentality
Conor was
was
different.
great. That's
Conor
one
now is just, I don't know what he's on.
Fighting.
I don't know
KSI?
if you've checked him on the Twitter.
He's fighting
Bro is on
KSI.
a bad run.
I think the sport's passed him by at the minute. He's
Yeah.
been out for too long.
He
and
has been out for too long.
The
yeah.
stuff away from the cage is probably overtaking what he did 10 years ago.
Yeah,
So the people that are coming into the
Everyone-
sport
that's
now
the
and they
thing,
see
yeah.
this guy and they're like,
he's shit.
What do you think of this new fight that's happening this weekend? I think USMAN Nurmagomedov versus
Paul Hughes, good fight.
What do you think of that one?
But Usman Nurmagomedov
I
is a
mean-
whole different level, bro.
I watched Paul Hughes in Cage Warriors and some of the fights he put on in there
Yeah.
were legit. The fights with like Jordan Vucenic were,
Yeah, that
Oh.
was.
they were good. And
And-
like
and Jordan
you could have
Vucenic
put
is no
you
joke.
could have put
In
them into
UFC
the
now.
that they could have been in the UFC fights and easily held their own as decent. The second one was, I mean, the second Paul Hughes performance was insane.
Yeah.
And then to do what he did to AJ McKee,
That one surprised me. Yeah, AJ McKee.
that was
That one surprised me. When you fought AJ McKee, because AJ McKee he's legit as they come.
Yeah.
What he did, I was like, okay, fair enough. Like
but
he won by split,
I mean, I know the name.
Nurmagomedov.
It carries heavy weight, but I think it's closer than people.
I think it might be. I don't see Usman stopping him.
No, he
I
doesn't.
think it's going to be a decision. I think it might be a split
It's
decision.
a decision, but it's gonna It's
I
gonna
think-
be unanimous, heavy, bro. I
Nah.
promise you. Bro, Usman Nurmagomedov, in my opinion, is probably the best out of those three. Apart, actually, no.
Relax yourself.
I think
But,
he's better, but
I
he
think
is better
Usman's
than
gonna
Umar. He is better than Umar. End of conversation.
Nah, Usman's gonna get
What weight is he? Lightweight.
Lightweight. I think what's gonna happen is Islam is gonna fight a couple of more years, and then retire.
He wants to fight.
Usman's gonna come in UFC
and become champ.
and lightweight become the champion, and then he's
How
gonna.
old is he?
He's 26.
That's what they want, though.
He's 26
that.
now. Yeah.
That's why he's chilling in Bellator for now.
PFL.
Up here, same shit. They fought each other. That's the same thing, but he beats Paul Hughes, in my opinion, badly.
No, I think it's gonna be close. It's gonna be closer than we think.
If he's going to beat Paul Hughes, he'll have to come through some sort of adversity. I don't think he'll have it all his own way. Paul Hughes will land a shot.
Yeah.
Land a shot and then.
Someone said.
That potentially fight, like with the AJ McKee one. When did he land that? Like end of the first round.
I think it was the end of the first. I was like,
if that had been a minute before, 90 seconds before, he might have stopped it.
yeah.
The same could happen. Those little 4-ounce gloves.
Yeah. Nah, they do make a big difference. Someone said on the build up to the fight, someone was like, "This is the evil Khabib versus humble Conor." Because I don't know if you watched when they did the face off.
The face off, yeah.
Paul Hughes was like, "You're looking past me." He was like, "Who are you?" He was like,
Who are you?
"Exactly." I was like, "Oh my days, Usman, bro, you got to be humble."
He's like, no, he's like.
I can't take another Nurmagomedov taking an L. I can't
against Irish, bro. Do you know if Paul Hughes wins? Do you know how much Conor is gonna go off?
I bet you Conor has already got tweets lined up.
He's gonna go off on Twitter, bro. Oh my god.
For every one of the lines, he's got a tweet lined up.
Watch for that whole fight. He's got.
He invited him to corner. Like that.
Do you reckon he's gonna show up?
Nah.
Because you know Khabib's gonna be there.
They'd probably end up causing another fucking.
That's the. I think even if he did, I don't think they'd let him in.
They won't. They can't have that.
Or they could have just like ridiculous security like on both sides.
Nah, but then
It's just be like-
they had ridiculous security in that.
Nah, but they didn't expect it to
The
carry
eagle
on.
jumped in. I hate Dylan Dennis. I actually hate that guy.
Nah, he's a waste man.
No one cares about Dylan Dennis. Hope he
So
does.
I think we're coming up
we are coming to the end of
That's
this podcast.
30-minute mark. That's the end of the.
That's the end
It
of
went by
the
quick, didn't it?
episode.
Yeah.
That one quick. I didn't even realise it was 30 minutes. I looked at it and it's 30 minutes. It says 32 minutes now.
Yeah. So
Yapping.
next week we're gonna have we're gonna do a recap of this weekend's fights, which Usman versus Paul Hughes, and
see what happens.
yeah. So thanks for
Thank you.
showing up. Appreciate that, bro.
Cheers, my coach. He's my coach.
And yeah, see you guys next week.
Take care.